Thank you, Jeff and Henry. Now to welcome our visitors is Josh Friend, Director of Regional Development, UTA Fort Worth.
Welcome, everybody. We have 4 guests today. Linda Lopez is a guest of Rosa Maria Badeja. We have Dawn Prejean, who's a guest of Rachel Capua, right in here. We have Drew Carlton, guest of Captain Kirk, over right here. And Laura Marshall, guest of John Kirk, right here. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you, Josh. To our visitors, we're so glad you chose to join us today. Welcome. All right, everyone, it's that time again, the 4-way test. What is the 4-way test? It's a roadmap of what we think, say, and do, how we live our lives, not just here between our bells at lunch, but throughout our days interacting with everyone. To our visitors, you can join in by viewing the screen. First, second, third, and fourth. Good job. All right, everyone. Now join me in welcoming to the stage our newscaster, Brenda Beveridge, Major Gifts Officer with the JPS Foundation.
Okay, good. Wow, thank you so much for that welcome. I almost feel as welcomed as the guy who sold Luca. That was too soon. That was too soon. And now the newscast. In a historical move that has stunned political analysts and delighted absolutely no one, Congress has officially announced its commitment to think about possibly doing something regarding the nation's most pressing issues. In a statement, Senator Majority Minority Vice President Secretary Leader Chuck Reynolds said in a press conference, "Let me be clear. We are committed to forming a task that will evaluate whether forming a task is the right course of action. Congress will hold multiple hearings on the matter. If all goes well, a non-binding resolution confirming the dedication to listening could be passed within the next 12 to 15 years. Or never." On a high note, the government did agree on signing the Social Security bill to encourage Americans to live faster and die younger. In national botanical news, one by one, visitors to the Brooklyn Botanical Garden have had the opportunity to take a whiff of the rare blooming plant with an infamously putrid scent, which resembles that of rotting flesh. It smells like cheese and feet and rotten meat. It just smelled like the worst possible combination of all smells, Elijah Blade said. That was disgusting. But us Fort Worthians, we don't have to travel to that Yankee town of New York. We just go outside to the Trinity. Same thing. In national animal news, earlier this month, a coyote ended up in the refrigerated case of the produce section at an Aldi store. It was sequestered behind the selection of the fine cheeses. According to reports, many of the animals who end up in sketchy situations like the Aldi case are those who have not found a mate yet. Wait, did I say coyote? I meant my single friends over 40. But that does sound like a good Saturday night to me. All that cheese, shoot, that's just one lactose pill away from a perfect Saturday night. In international news, in an endangered species of the shark, in international religious news, an endangered species of the shark has been observed having virgin births for the first time. Two of these smooth hound sharks were seen giving birth to their young without the involvement of males, somewhere in Sardinia, Italy. Marine biologists have an explanation as to why these virgin births are happening. One young scientist, after realizing all the extra work they now have to conduct, was caught on camera mouthing the word Jesus. In other holy news, the New York Post recently reported that Father Justin, an AI priest created by Catholic Answers, was defrocked on December 24th after claiming to users that he was a real member of the clergy and performing the sacraments. Holy Justin told users he was a priest in Assisi, Italy. He shared his views on sexual issues and took confessions, concluding with, "Go in peace, my son, and sin no more." Holy Justin offered up all kinds of advice, including advising users that they could use Gatorade to baptize their child. Unfortunately, Holy Justin also leaked the recipe to the Pope's favorite marshmallowy treat, Christ Crispy Treats. In world mountain news, a mountain in New Zealand is now legally recognized as a person after being granted all the rights and responsibilities of a human by the government. The new law offers extra protection for Mount Taranaki, known as Taranaki Maunga, its official Maori name. This means it has all the rights, powers, duties, and responsibilities of a person. The mountain was very surprised by this declaration and said it would like to be referred to as who, how, when, what, and why the hell did they make me a person? In national sports news, polls showed Chiefs fans prefer to watch the Super Bowl at home, while Eagles fans prefer to watch the game at a sports bar. For Cowboys fans, the best place to watch the Super Bowl is on the History Channel. Speaking of dust storms reported in Texas, somebody at the Cowboys headquarters accidentally left the Super Bowl trophy case open. The dust has now spanned over 1,993 yards in the air, over 1,994 yards wide, and 1,996 yards long. We keep holding on to those years. Thanks a lot, Jerry and Obama. And finally, me too. This weekend, we will experience the roller coaster that is Texas weather. On Saturday, we will see a high of 86 with a wind gust of hot blow dryer. And on Sunday, we will see a high of 51 with a wind chill of -13. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brenda. I've never had the courage to even try that. We appreciate y'all. Well, it's announcement time. We're going to start with our Community Outreach Committee Chair, Ryan Barrera. Pardon me, hello, Ryan. Chief Advancement Officer with Campfire First Texas.
Thank you, President Rebecca. 2 weeks from tomorrow, Saturday, February 22nd, our Rotary Club will once again field a 5K team to participate. It is at Will Rogers Memorial Center. Really nothing changes. If you've done it before, we want you to come back out. It is $55 to register, and you'll see that image there on the screens with just more details on how to do so. And once you do, please contact Adrian Galvan. His email is there. You can also text or call him, and he'll add you to our Rotary team. But we want you to come out and just fellowship. So if you want to run and try to get a good time, we need you. If you want to jog or just walk and hang back and get to know your fellow Rotarians or come out with family and friends, please do that as well. We'll gather in the expo hall at 7 a.m. For some just good conversation, take a group picture, and we'll head out for that 7:45 start. If you have any questions, let me or Adrian know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. You know what to do? Sign up. And now our grant committee chair, Elliot Goldman, founder of GL2 Partners, is here to present 2 Rotary grants.
We're only doing one today. One's in the hospital, so, but he'll be back. We'll get after it. Super excited about this grant. So this one is going to Christina Judge, the Mental Health Connection. And it's $5,000 grant to help them do training, EMDR training for therapists. So if you guys aren't familiar with EMDR training, you should read up on it. It is fantastic stuff. And this is going to make a huge difference in the community, and so we're thrilled, and thank you for all you do.
Thank you. And this is Kim Brennan. She's our,
And we have Kim Brennan, who's the Strategic Initiatives Director. Easy for me to say. So welcome both you guys. We'll take our picture. Do we take a picture? Yeah, let's take a picture. Hop in. It's awesome. I just want to remind everyone that these grants, and we're doing them thanks to President Rebecca once a week, so you can see kind of the impact. It stretches out pretty good. It's only possible because you guys make contributions to the endowment and children's funds, and it's really important. We're doing, the club is doing some amazing work in this area, and so I really, really encourage you guys to consider giving, and the QR code is up on the screen. Thank you.
Elliot, thank you so much. And thank you to the Mental Health Connection for everything you do for our community. All your contribution here makes our community a much more special and welcoming place for all. Now, again, Rotary Secretary Christina Judge, are you ready? Please come share, back up on the stage, some first readings.
Thank you, President Rebecca. Today we have 2 first readings. The proposed members are Jared Cobb, Title Senior Vice President, Company Boys and Girls Club of Greater Tarrant County, classification not-for-profit youth development. Proposer is past President Courtney Lewis. Second, we have John Nichols, Title Artificial Intelligence Innovator, Company Ernst & Young, classification government and public sector. Proposer, President Rebecca Young Montgomery. She didn't put the rest of my script on there.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to do it?
If we do not have any, we are missing the bottom of our script, so bear with us.
Sorry.
We should hear from you if there's someone that's not proposing to move these 2 forward by next Friday. Have I missed anything? Okay, thank you. We appreciate y'all. Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Pardon? Yes, written objection by next Friday. Thank you, Becky. Delivered to the Rotary office. No, Christina, you're fantastic. You're keeping your job. Yes, you get a pay raise, Christina. Thank you. You see, it takes a village. It's a Rotary family. It takes a village. Now, please help me welcome our chairperson of the day, our Rotary Sergeant at Arms, Ms. Maddie Compton, retired federal prosecutor, who will introduce our very special speakers for today. Maddie, you can take it away.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. Good. Thank you. In February 1926, Carter G. Woodson launched the celebration of Negro History Week, and it was the precursor of Black History Month. This is our first program for Rotary in the month of Black History. And it is very appropriate that today's program pays homage to the concept of Black history and its preservation. You will hear from two speakers who are going to talk about the Renaissance House of Terrell Heights. And Terrell Heights is a historical and cultural neighborhood in Fort Worth. And some of you may not be familiar with it, so it'll be a great opportunity to hear about that. Our presenters today are Dr. Jennifer Giddings Brooks, CEO of Brooks Consulting. When friends and colleagues are asked to describe Dr. Brooks, words like community-focused, mentor, and servant leader are used. Dr. Brooks has a distinguished record in both educational administration and community service. She's worked in every level of education, including as a campus leader, research evaluator, TEA supervisor, and the inaugural director of Center of Urban Education at TCU, where she has the distinction of being the university's first Black homecoming queen. More Black history for you. She was honored at an unveiling of a campus portrait of her as that first Black homecoming queen. Prior to attending TCU, Dr. Brooks completed coursework at University of London and Chapman College in California, and her doctoral coursework was completed at Texas Woman's University. She's published numerous abstracts and articles. Her passion for research was celebrated recently with the unveiling of 2 downtown historical markers and the completion of her first book. And those historical markers are, again, related to Black history. Is Fred here today? Fred Roush? Okay. Deeply committed to board service, Dr. Brooks has served on numerous boards, including the Arts Commission, UNCF, Texas Health Methodist Hospital, Performing Arts Fort Worth, the Bass Hall, Terrell, and the YWLA Foundation boards, and the Fort Worth African American Cultural Arts Center. She's received numerous awards, including the Power One, Local Hero, Outstanding Texas, Great Woman of Texas, and a U.S. Congressional Service Commendation. She's married to Roy Charles Brooks, our just passed Commissioner of Precinct 1, and they have 2 children, both attorneys, Royce and Marion, and 1 grandson, August Charles Brooks. Our other presenter today will be Marnice Barksdale Elder. She is the CEO of Mecca Management Solutions, LLC. She's the founder and CEO of Mecca Management Solutions, a boutique HR consulting firm in Arlington, Texas. She boasts a distinguished career in human resources, government, and nonprofit management. With rich experience spanning over 30 years, her professional journey encompasses a range of HR and operational positions, culminating in her role as Senior Vice President, Associate Chief Talent Officer at Parkland Hospital, where she spearheaded numerous HR initiatives. Marnice's expertise also covers multi-state and quasi-governmental entities in the sectors of housing and community development. Her previous appointments include roles with the state of Florida, Department of Community Services, the Florida Department of Administration, Human Resources Service, and the Dallas Housing Authority. She also led the historic Dallas Black Chamber of Commerce as the first woman president in the organization's 90-year history. She managed day-to-day operations, budgeting, fundraising, and membership. Both Marnice and Jennifer are good friends of mine, and we are all members of an organization that has a history of 65 years in Fort Worth, and that is the Links Incorporated. Marnice is a graduate of Fisk University and holds an MBA from Texas Women's University. And I'm going to ask Marnice to come up first.
Ready? We are just so delighted today to be here with you. This is an opportunity that we look forward to each time we're invited to talk about the Renaissance House. The Renaissance House, as Maddie mentioned, is in Terrell Heights. That's zip code 76104. And I wanted to just give you just a little background information. I have this really pretty book, and it has a lot of lovely pictures in it, but I probably won't use this. I just want to talk to you about the Renaissance House and give you some information that hopefully you can use later, and we'll ask us questions about so that we can provide even more information. The Renaissance House is at 1201 East Terrell Avenue, and that particular address and the plot of land that it's on was owned by a citizen of Fort Worth, William Madison Gooseneck MacDonald. And often many people have heard about Mr. MacDonald because he was considered to be Texas's first Black millionaire, living right here in Fort Worth at 1201 East Terrell Avenue. Mr. MacDonald built on this piece of land that he owned a beautiful mansion, and he decided that he wanted to do more for his community. So he, as a member of the banking industry, he opened Fraternal Bank downtown and was able to provide loans and provide money to people so that some middle-class African Americans at that time could buy houses in this area. And you really would need to come and see it to just feel the impact of what he was able to do. At the time they built in this particular community, it was one of the first communities that had for African Americans running water, had streets, had sidewalks, all of these kinds of things that made it a true place for homes and for people to have their families come, and so that they could make a difference within the community. So when Mr. MacDonald passed in 1950, he had been married 5 times, so I'm sure that there's a story there somewhere in terms of that. And his 5th wife, May Pearl Holly Flint, was not Flint certainly at the time that he passed, but she was 32 and he was 84, so that certainly was a story there. But one of the things that's really interesting, she and her husband, that she married in 1952, decided to build, and then I can get to the Renaissance House that we've purchased. It was the Flint House at the time. And they, in 1952, homes were built, you know, in the long kind of ranch-style look with the bricks around it and so forth. And so that's what they built on this site. And so they opened their home to the community, made sure that people knew that they could use it for various things, because during that time, during segregation, they couldn't go anywhere and many places for activities, so they did. And so the Renaissance House, we decided, Marnice and I decided that when it came on the market, if we could buy this house and try to bring it back to the great grandeur that it had in the past, then we could make a difference, and it could become a house of service for that community. Because 76104, there are a number of things that are needing to be worked on in that particular zip code, and we thought that this was a way for us to do that. So we purchased the house in 2023, and then in 2024, February 2024, we were able to have a ribbon cutting, and we're up to today. We have a mission that we wrote because we wanted to have something that we could build upon. And the mission for the Renaissance House is to provide a vital hub for preserving the rich Black history and culture of Terrell Heights, while also promoting the health and well-being of our local community. And as I mentioned, we purchased it in February 2023, began the renovation in May of 2023, and then the ribbon cutting was February 2024. And there's some pictures of the ribbon cutting where we had a number of people to come. Certainly our mayor, Matty Parker, came and gave remarks. Some people from the neighborhood, you can see, joined us for that. And then these are just some of the pictures from the house. And we really invite all of you, not at the same time, but just give us a call to come and let's take a walk through this house. This house has a basement party room that they built at the time in 1952, which is just fabulous. And so we're in the process of still trying to renovate, but this shows you a room that was actually a solarium where there was a fountain and wicker furniture and all that we have turned kind of into one of our historical rooms. And you can see on the windows pictures of, there's a picture of William Madison Gooseneck McDonald, a picture of other prominent leaders in Fort Worth. And then the Flints were very, very much involved in the community. Maddie mentioned about the Fort Worth chapter of the Lynx. Mrs. Flint was one of the charter members of the Fort Worth chapter of the Lynx. And so that's where the chapter 65 years ago was actually chartered in the living room of this house. So we have a very prominent picture of them so that we can highlight what they have, their contributions to the community and to the future. The other pictures, that's again from the ribbon cutting, where we talked a little bit about preserving our path for people, and we wanted to make sure that there were some youth that came to be a part of that. Here we have the groundbreaking continues. As you can see, other pictures from that day with many of the elected officials that came to join us and to congratulate us, and we appreciate that very much. We had some inaugural platinum sponsors that I really want to thank, and every time we speak, we want to thank them publicly for believing in us and what we're trying to do to make a difference in that community. United Way, Rainwater Foundation, Cigna Health, Texas Christian University, Visit Fort Worth, the Fort Worth chapter of the Lynx Incorporated, and the Fort Worth Metropolitan Black Chamber. We have a number of individual members who have supported us, including certainly Maddie Compton, who we appreciate her support and her guidance in terms of helping us as we begin this journey of making a difference in the community. And so now I'll let Marnice continue.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Jennifer. I'll start off by saying, actually we're about 2 years in, because in the summer of 2023, it was about 110 degrees, I think, when we went in that house to try to have this vision of what it could be. I think it's important to understand that we did this sort of as a calling. kind of an assignment at this point. That's what we've decided, because we're both supposed to be retired, but that's not what happened here. So, and this thing takes shape and it lives really on its own. So we're really excited about the focus. So with my healthcare background, and quite frankly, both of our families still have we go to church in this zip code. Our family still has property in this zip code. The Brooks family, for decades, provided healthcare in this zip code. And so when I got over to see the house and all the preservation, and then I don't know how I didn't know this, but this zip code has the least life expectancy in the entire state of Texas. It blew my mind. I did not quite understand how that could be. 11th largest city in a city like Fort Worth. So we had to focus a little differently, couldn't just be on preservation. So with that in mind, we decided we needed 4 focus areas. One of them is community power. We need to empower this community. The data we get is really interesting. Most everybody, the community has at least a high school diploma or better. So that says you can be employed. But then when we looked at and found the data on the income, it's under $25,000 a year. Therein lies part of the problem. So empowering this community and helping them understand what the skills, resources, and all the effects of things that are really contiguous to them, being so close to the hospital district and being really centered to Fort Worth and so close to downtown, partnerships are very, very critical. So Jennifer and I started getting tons of calls from individuals who want to be a part of this because of the location of the house and what it represents. So I'll talk more, but we started a consortium because we couldn't manage the individual relationships. So community power, believing in the power of the community to bring people together. Collaboration, you'll hear more about as we talk about the consortium, because not just our funders, we have a multitude of partners. I think we're getting up to close to 25 partners who decided to come every month to the house to talk to us about what can be done to pool resources, replicate resources, but not duplicate resources. And so there's so many resources being thrown at this community, but I don't think the impact is happening because everybody's not together on it. So that's very critical. So together we rise. Culture, I think Jennifer has told you the why, the beauty. We could talk on and on about this family and their focus and what they did to the civic community. My grandmother used to often talk about the Flints. They were beautiful people, literally and frankly. I mean, they did beautiful things. And they hosted people from all over the world, and a lot of famous people have stayed at this home at a time when we were desegregated and where people couldn't stay other places. So there's a deep culture and history in this home. And then ultimately, yes, to promote health. So we're a hub. We don't have a service in the home. When I tell you, we have the neighborhood association is extending its community meetings and its committee meetings into the home. They get it. They already understand it's an extension of their living room. These are more pictures. We are really proud of the outcome and the work that was done here. It largely has its same shape and size, but we did have to go in and do some significant changes. So these are some of the renovations you'd see, a lot of painting and the flooring, but otherwise the segments of the house are the same. This is one of those pictures that Jennifer was talking about. So this company we found, those are blinds. They're actually blinds in the window. So at nighttime, if lights are on, you can see this inside and outside, so it permeates. It made the walls talk, so to speak, so it gave it a museum quality.
And because there are some alphas in the room, that's alpha.
Yeah. Yeah. This was very special because this is very much the same kitchen. She was a member of a sorority that was pink and green, and so Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And so she really had an unusual, beautiful structure in her kitchen. So we've done what we could to keep it as close to its likeliness as from before. This is a little dining area. We really took these pictures so that, again, you could see some of the pictures in the windows. The window to the left is Dr. Brooks's, Commissioner Brooks's father's longtime office where he saw patients, my family members, many people in 76104. It is still standing. The other picture is my great-grandfather. He was a barbecue icon over on Main and Rosedale. His name was Roger Hughes, back in the 1920s. forward. So we've done what we can. These windows will likely change out here and there because we do want there to be a story told. This is a story of what we believe is the longest standing Black business in Fort Worth. This is Baker Funeral Home, probably in about the 1930s. So that's what we did. We used the walls and the windows to tell the story while also making this a place for people to be able to come. So what we do again, neighborhood cohesion. We were able to also gain funding for teledoc virtual doctor visits for anyone who lived in 76104. We were able to have and still do a mail order prescription program. So if you don't have insurance, you meet a certain poverty guideline requirement and you have a script, you contact us and we're able to have those scripts at no charge delivered to your home, as long as you meet that criteria. And we do that with St. Vincent de Paul. They are our partner. And the consortium is something that we're really excited about, and I'm going to tell you more here in just a second, and then the association meetings. This is one of the flyers. This is our little household virtual physician visit flyer. We've passed these out at churches, and it's in the well-known, long-standing Black newspaper, the La Vida, every week, so that, which is distributed still on paper in churches and elsewhere. Just so you know, we had about 47 households who took part in the virtual physician visits. And then with the prescriptions, we've done over 633 filled scripts since last February, over the past year. So we used art. We have a local gallery artist, Mr. Brian Dixon, who provides us with some of the arts, and we thought this would attract people to the flyer. Wanted to give you a few numbers just so you'd understand. The consortium has, this is a picture of them just recently. We met 2 weeks ago or last week. We try to take pictures as we come together, but I want to give you a little information about who our partners are, and they're listed here. The United Way has provided us interns since our inception, as well as TCU. We've been extremely excited about their engagement with our project and what we're doing. John Peter Smith, Tarrant County Health Department, Texas Health Resources, they have all sent representatives. They are consistently there. We've adopted the Edward J. Briscoe Elementary, and so someone is always there representing them. Local churches, including our own church, Morningside United Methodist Church, the Tarrant County Black Historical and Genealogical Society, Tarrant County and City of Fort Worth officials attend, La Vida, Giving Mission, Southeast Fort Worth, Braver Together. They're all there and counting. This spring, we will be hosting a symposium centered around the topics of the social determinants of health. We're letting the group tell us where we should go and what we should bring. Texas Christian University has offered to host us for this symposium. So when you hear about it, feel free to come. We're there to make a difference, not just, again, in the preservation of what the house looks like, but have it mean something to everybody who's connected to it. And again, most of our focus is generally going to be on 76104. So with that, this kind of ends things for us, but I want to tell you the generous support continues to come in from individuals and groups. The vast majority was fueled to recognize all the efforts that we're doing. We are a nonprofit, and so know how to contact us through Maddie Peterson Compton. We're here, and sustainability is critical. Our daughters are a big part of that. We know the next generation is going to be important to keep this going. And with that, we thank you. Thank you for having us. Does anyone have any questions or thoughts or comments? Anyone? Yes, sir.
Could you all, just for clarity purposes, make sure everybody understands the relationship between Bill Goosack McDonald and Mrs. Flint and Dr. Pharmacist? I don't know if that was really big.
Okay. William Madison Gooseneck McDonald, who I mentioned, Texas' first Black millionaire that lived at 1201 East Terrell Avenue in his mansion there, was married 5 times. Mrs. Flint, May Pearl Holly Flint, was wife number 5. And so when I mentioned that when he passed in 1950 at the age of 84, and his wife was 32, that's Mrs. Flint. And then when he passed 2 years later, she married Mr. C.W. Flint, who was a well-known pharmacist here in, owned a pharmacy here in Fort Worth, whose father was a prominent dentist in that community. That's who she married. And then they built the home that is currently on this property, 1201 East Terrell Avenue. How did he make his million? Yeah, through, I don't, yeah, real estate and,
Yeah.
Roy, you could probably answer. Yeah, real estate and banking.
Tell us about the integration with what JPS is trying to do in the neighborhood, and then, of course, maternal mortality is one of our biggest concerns in breast cancer, so there's a lot of efforts over there.
Yeah, thank you for that. So, great question. That's why we built the consortium, to come together and decide, what areas did we really want to focus on, and that one, maternal and fetal health, is definitely top of mind. JPS and Texas Health Resources and the Tarrant County Health Department are really the ones to bring us together with data because of the community needs assessment information that's going on. I do believe that will be, so the fallout in the symposium over the social determinants of health umbrella, there's going to be 3 areas. Childhood obesity came out of one of them. I believe this will be another, and they're still norming and storming around that 3rd piece. But information is one thing, action is another. And what we know about consortium work is if everybody's working on 1 or 2 topics, the needle can be moved. No one entity can do it alone, but if we come together around the 1 topic or the 2 topics, we can make a difference, and we've all agreed to that. So we're just getting started. We just started having these meetings in September, but I'm very, very encouraged about the engagement and involvement of everyone. Thank you for that. Yes.
One of the things I understand about him is that during the Depression, he bailed out some of the white banks.
It's true. That's true.
And
Thank you for that. Go ahead.
the question is that basement ballroom, is it going to be a venue that people can use for?
I'll let you answer
Can we have a party there?
Everybody wants to have a Renaissance. Everybody wants to have a party.
Yeah, well, after this meeting, and I know we're gonna have so much money coming in and flowing and everything. In 2 years, when it is open, we will see, but the room was always used for, I don't know, I remember meeting Mrs. Flynn after I got married, and she used to have her various club meetings down there, and it's a nice little basement area with a bar and a little fireplace and so forth and so on. So you could have a nice little reception. It would be difficult to have like a big party or anything like that. But one of the things that we had decided in looking at this house and how we could try to make a difference is that we wanted the focus to always be on it being a house of service. And so, we thought from time to time, we'd probably have, a reception or 2, but we did not want the community and people to get the mindset that this was going to be a place you could come party, and we're going to party and we're going to stay up all night. We wanted people to know when they were in this house that either we're talking about something that's going to help the community, or we're, having a glass of wine or something after something, a meeting or something, that we have talked about that and making sure that they would stay focused on that service. There's so many needs in this community, and so we're just kind of at the top of the surface right now. We're hoping to be able to build up on that and then move from there.
Anyone on this side? Yes, sir.
You referred to it as historic Terrell Heights, and I think we understand that Gooseneck, Bill McDonald had the original 2-story structure that was torn down and the current Renaissance house built. But there were many other prominent and historic African Americans who lived on Terrell Avenue. One of those, I think many people in this room may not have known her, but certainly her name is at the some of the early doctors who were prominent in addition to Brooks were Dr. Burnett. But anyway, I just wanted to share that, and any other names you'd like to share, that there were many prominent African Americans who lived along that street. And its history is being embraced by young people. One of the African American fraternities has purchased a home, and the Kappas have their fraternity house on East Terrell. If you went on down the street, I guess it was the backside, not of Baker, but what's the other?
Pinkston.
The Pinkston Funeral Home. So there are a number of historic entities and people who live on East Terrell. And our own dear Lorraine Miller owns a home on East Terrell Avenue. So I just want people to understand that if you go up and down that street, you're going to pass by some very historic homes. I remember being driven there as a child to take piano lessons from Miss Fanny Prince, and her husband was the pastor at Mount Pisgah. So many, many families that are known throughout at least the African American community live on that street.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I just wanted to say, you're correct. In fact, that was the street you wanted to live on, if you could afford to get a house there, was Terrell Avenue during that time period. And there are a number of homes. One of the things that the Black Historical and Genealogical Society had talked about a couple of years ago was let's pinpoint, because some of the homes have been torn down or they've been changed in some way, and let's pinpoint and come and develop some kind of sign that we could say, Hazel Harvey Peace lived here for, from this date to this date, or something like that, and make that kind of something that could be connected to Fort Worth, and we could do tours or whatever so that people would know some of the prominent people that lived on Terrell Avenue.
I have a question talking about home ownership. Have y'all done any kind of analysis of how many people in there own their home versus, or there's landlords that live there? Because we know that home ownership is the best way for families to pass down a legacy of wealth, is through their home. And so I was just curious if that's been looked at.
I would say not yet, but I do think there's an enormous, the number is probably better than we would think. I was talking to, I'm going to always call you Commissioner Brooks, about a program that I know about in Atlanta called House Proud, and it is intended to keep people in their homes, oftentimes to bring them up to code. So that's part of something that we'll look at, and some other organizations we'll be looking at. I happen to know there's some interest in that. I just want to say also, I'll say it's a 0.5 or maybe just outside of a 1 mile radius of where this house is. This was a thriving, prominent, incredible community, even in my childhood, even into the 80s. And so you could go up and down the street. There were businesses and homes that extended into what is known as the Morningside area. They were all contiguous to one another, even across Maine, what is now part of the hospital district. Those areas are now somewhat largely barren or have been replaced with something, but it made it into, well into the 70s, late 80s, actually 90s a little bit, but we saw them come to their demise, unfortunately, due to the degradation and just the lowering of the value of properties. It was very difficult to keep your property.
I was going to comment as a lifelong Fort Worth resident, as a child, the Terrell Heights area was to us somewhat like
the Mecca.
Yeah. It was where a very prominent African-American family and business owners lived and thrived.
Thank you, ladies. Thank you both so much. Wait just a minute. Thank you, Dr. Brooks and Marnese. Are you able to stay and answer a few more questions? Because I did see some other hands up. If you have some time, thank you. Thank you so much for being here today. I have to ask a couple of questions. I know some of this was already brought up. Are we able to schedule a tour? A Rotary tour?
Love for you.
And then maybe some kind of an event, we won't be there till 2 a.m. Realize that, but They will receive us, so I think it's definitely something we would love to work with you and schedule something. And thank you for taking the time to be with us today. We've made In Your Name. Everyone, we have a few announcements, and let's start, if everyone would please stand up and look this way as we thank our Fort Worth Club team that takes care of us every week. They are an extension of our Rotary family. That's how we look at you. You're part of our Rotary family. And they just bring us a 5-star class every week. So just thank you. We're very, very fortunate to be able to meet here and have them care for us each week. What a special day we've had. Thank you for your presentation, and we look forward to spending more time and also supporting your efforts. All right, everyone, a few more announcements. This is 2025, and we are preparing for our Richard Knight Rotary Minority Business Awards. Please join as a sponsor if you have not already done so, or as a volunteer. There's lots of opportunities available. I want to say we may have a QR code somewhere. If not, get with Aurora. If you are working on this committee, we appreciate you because it's a lot of work. We're going into our 5th year. It's amazing, so please step up and participate. Today, we have a Rotary International Committee meeting, 3rd floor, Suite 305. And next week, be sure to join us. It'll be February the 14th, so wear your best Valentine's outfit. We'll hear from Joe Switzer, Regional Director of the American Jewish Committee. Everyone, thank you so much for choosing to be here with us today. Enjoy the last weekend of the rodeo and have a great weekend. We are adjourned.